Time is racist. If time had a race, it would be white. According to a gender studies professor, white people own time. This is one of the most racist and offensive things I have ever heard. I am outraged, and I demand this racist white supremacist who believes that white people own time be deplatformed. I got a couple stories for you, and then we'll get into this. First of all, the regressive left-wing identitarians are white supremacists. Think about it. She quite literally is saying right here that white people own time. How dare you give ownership of time to white people? Only a white supremacist would believe that white people control an aspect of physics, depending on what your interpretation of physics is. Time. I'm part Korean. I'm pretty sure Asians understood the concept of time. And let me tell you a story. And before we read this, I was in North Dakota, I think it was, where the pipeline action was taking place, the Dakota Action Pipeline thing. I was getting pizza with some of the activists. The person I was with wanted to stay. I had to leave. I had a business meeting in Los Angeles, and I had to drive from North Dakota to LA in a blizzard. So I said, I gotta go. Because if I'm going to make it there, I need a couple days in advance to make sure I survive. It's going to be a dangerous trip. Icy roads, whiteout conditions. One of these guys, he says to me, man, you gotta, that's colonial thinking, man. You gotta stop. That's the colonial thinking. And I said, what do you mean colonial thinking? And he goes, like getting, 8 a.m., like getting up for a business meeting, like a schedule. That's colonial thinking, man. Like Native Americans never had this. It was the colonizers who brought this stuff here. And I said, right, but a schedule? Like, how is that colonial thinking? And he said, dude, it's because the white Europeans had this concept. They come to America, and now all of a sudden everybody has this concept. It came from Europe. And I said, no, like Asians understood the concept of time as well. I mean, anybody who was a farmer understood the concept of time, and they had schedules and things like this. It's not like white people invented scheduling, you know? And he's like, no, dude, come on, admit it. You know that basically the world was influenced by white people and their concept of time. And then I got really angry, and I said, excuse me? Are you trying to tell me that my ancestors didn't understand time until the white man came and gifted us the notion of time? Is that a joke? I will not sit here and listen to white supremacists like you tell me that my heritage that my people couldn't understand basic concepts until you, the glorious white man, came and told us what time was. I was pissed. But I was more pissed, not so much that this guy thought white people invented time, like let alone the fact that our current our numerals, the math, the math we use, I believe they're Arabic, and algebra is quite literally, I believe it's an Arabic word. To believe that the concept of time came from Europe, it's mind-blowing how racist these people are. I view this as one form of white supremacy. There's one faction that believes white people are supreme, and then you have these people who think they are but shouldn't be, right? You have people who we would call a white supremacist colloquially who want to be supreme. They think, they believe in their whatever. They believe they're better than everybody. But these people believe that white people own everything. I'm sorry. White people don't own time, and time isn't white. That's incredibly racist and erases other cultures. But these people, mostly in the West, are obsessed. And they don't understand the world is like, 80-something% not white? It's really annoying to me, and it's crazy because why is it that conservative white people understand this, and these weird progressives on the left don't understand the concept that white people don't own and control everything, nor did they invent everything? Guess what? Asians invented gunpowder. The Chinese, I believe. Could be wrong. But I have great respect for the heritage of my culture. And I guess growing up the way I did, I recognize that it's probably why I didn't end up becoming one of these fringe left-wing white supremacist zealots who think white people invented everything. How insane do you have to be? This is the world they live in. They live in a world where white people created everything and own everything. Isn't that insane? That is absolutely crazy. Egyptians built pyramids thousands of years before the Roman Empire. These people are nuts. Let's read this. A gender studies professor discussed the racial implications of time during an NPR interview last week, arguing that if time had a race, it would be white, and that white people own time. How insanely racist, and that is a white supremacist statement. Speaking to host Guy Raz for the TED Radio Hour episode, Confronting Racism, Brittany Cooper, Associated Professor of Women's and Gender Studies and African Studies at Rutgers, expounded on her theory regarding the racial politics of time. Cooper's conversation with Raz was centered largely around a 2017 TED Talk she gave on the topic. If you're going to claim that no other culture owns an aspect of reality, you're a racist. And if you put it on white people, you're quite literally a white supremacist. During her TED Talk, Cooper said that white people own time, citing as evidence the black community's use of the phrase colored people time, a long-standing joke about black people's purported perpetual lateness. She even suggested that their own penchant for punctuality stemmed from her mother's reaction to racism. Yes, there's also something called Miami time and Brazil time and Latin American time. The concept of being late isn't owned by the colored community or the black community. There was a big controversy where someone who was white used the phrase black time, which was considered racist. When I was in Miami, they used something called Miami time. I kid you not, people were late all the time because they didn't think it mattered. They didn't care. I do not believe that the part of me that is white is what gives me my work ethic and I'm very punctual. I do not believe that is rooted in whiteness. Because I am not entirely white. In fact, it is a common stereotype that Asians are extremely punctual, stringent, strict, and studious. Perhaps if you want to make a racial argument about who owns what, the reason I'm not late and I have work ethic could probably be because I'm Asian, not because I'm white. Not that I actually believe in any of that stuff. I think it comes from the fact that I had good parents who taught me the value of hard work, which is not unique to any race of people. It's mind-blowing to me how racist these people are, and this is why I believe they're white supremacists. Does she really believe that lateness is inherent to a certain race of people? Isn't that insane? My God. I'll be sure to tell all of my non-white friends the only reason they're late is because of their race, and I'll see how that goes over. Why is this woman allowed to say these things without being shut down, without being deplatformed, without being considered to be a white supremacist? She said, I personally am a stickler for time. It's almost as if my mother, when I was growing up, said, we will not be those black people, so we typically arrive to events 30 minutes early. She said, oh, my God. Before declaring if time had a race, it would be white. Wait. Are you literally saying that you aren't inherently late and the notion of colored time is racist? Because I think it is. I don't think lateness is at all due to someone's genetics or their race. There are people in certain areas in California who are very lazy, and the stereotype is they're hippie stoner white dudes who are like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to go lay on the beach and smoke pot. Are we supposed to assume that if time had a race, it would be white, while recognizing the stereotype of the squatting, lazy white person who smokes pot all day? This is why I hate racists and racial identitarians. It's hard to quantify, and it's hard to know for sure if there's a racial component to certain behaviors or a cultural, social component, which could be a part of a certain community. This person, however, in my opinion, is a racial identitarian and a racial determinist. She fits alongside any one of these other, white nationalist types. It's crazy when you see the Ami Horowitz interview I covered. I talked about it. He did the story, but I talked about it, I believe it was a couple days ago, where he asks a bunch of left-wing college students if they believe in segregation. They agree, and so does the KKK guy. Because he talks about these things and says, it's interesting how these people believe the same thing that the white nationalists do. They're identitarians. They believe the same things for the most part, like this woman who's just laughing. She says, when I say time is a race, I'm saying that the way that we position ourselves in relationship to time comes out of histories of European and Western thought. Thank you for erasing my history and my culture, who, by many metrics, were way more advanced than European. Like, there were great feats done in East Asia. The invention of gunpowder, East Asia. It's like, I know it's a very common thing to point to, and not necessarily a good thing. But Asians developed a ton of really impressive and amazing things, like historical art, works of art, the Great Wall of China. Yes, Europe did many great things. Absolutely. So did China. I am not going to sit here and claim one was better than the other. I just refuse to sit here and have them claim that it was Europe that created time, a basic concept to anybody who had to make beer or farm. It is absolutely insane. Could you imagine this belief, if it was true, when the first, as it's believed to be, ancient Africans were developing the concept of beer? I'm not a historian or an anthropologist, but one of the things I've read, and it could be wrong, is that it was the creation of beer actually that created agrarian society, that is farming, which led to massive developments. Humans stopped becoming nomadic because we'd accidentally discovered how to make beer. Beer requires recipe, fermenting, and you have to know how to do it, which means you can't be late. You can't be late when it comes to farming. If they want to claim that farming, an ancient practice, which was the beginning of human civilization, was European or white, I'm going to have to claim that you're a white supremacist. I don't know how many times. I'm going to stop here because I think you get the point. These people are nuts. They're racist and they're white supremacists. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out.